Another very useful tool that Excel offers is the ability to create graphs. So as an engineering student, you're going to be using Excel a lot, and you're going to be asked to make graphs for presentations, projects, reports, things like that. So say you're in a physics class and you had to figure out what the force is of different objects. So we've already calculated the forces here, and what we're going to do is select all of this data and then go over to Insert, where you can find different types of charts. So I don't really know what kind of chart I want to use. So based off of the data I've selected, it's given me a bunch of different chart options. So I can either make a scatter chart, or I can compare the data, which I don't really want to do because that's not what I'm using this data for. However, I think I want to use the scatter plot, but I don't know if I want to use that one. So I'm going to go over to all charts and go to XY scatter, and it'll show you the different types of charts that they have. So you can do a scatter with a line in it. You can do a scatter with just a line and no data points marked, or you can have a scatter plot with straight lines and markers. You can't really tell the difference in this example because they're all a factor of 9.81, so it's going to be a straight line. So let's just go ahead and do it with the smooth lines because I like that one a little bit more. And now it's created a chart for me. What I can do with this chart now is go to Chart Elements, and I want to add axis titles. And I need both the primary horizontal and primary vertical. You can change the options by clicking Change Options, and it'll give you different types of things to do with your axis title. You can change the title that you're trying to change or the plot area, things like that, and it'll give you different options. Another thing you can do is change your data and change the style of the chart if you want. I like the one that it comes with, but you can always edit them. There's a bunch of different options. Some people like the prettier looking ones. I like the basic ones because I know my teachers are okay with that. You can also change your data. So it's not shown here in this frame, but if you go over to this little funnel, you can go to values, and then in the bottom corner, there'll be something that says select data. So you can click that and it'll go open a window for you to change the data that you want to select. You can also change how the data you've currently selected looks. So I'm going to switch the rows and the columns, and you see how it changed my data here. So it just made a bunch of different series and instead of the one series, which is just the force. I can also add series. So say I had another set of series that I wanted to add that was to the right of this column. I could go ahead and add that here and apply that to the mass column, and it'll create another set of series. See, it's already started showing one on my graph, but I don't want that. So I'm just going to cancel, and I like what I have here, so this is what I'm going to do. However, I will need to change these to mass in kilograms, and then force in newtons. And with the vertical axis, you can change the direction that it's facing. If you go over to text box, it says rotate all to 270 degrees because that's going along the side. But if you wanted to, you could stack it so that it's all written horizontally but still going along the side of the axis, or you can just do it straight up horizontally and it'll make the graph presentation a little bit bigger, but it'll still be horizontal instead of vertical. And that's just a little bit that you can do with the charts. There's different kinds of charts and you can play around with those if you want. You can add a trend line, which is helpful for if you want to figure out what the function or formula of your data is. So if you go to more options, it'll show you what the different types of options are, and you can select for it to display the equation. So in this case, the equation is y equals 9.81x, which is the equation I used for creating this force data over here. So that should be correct. So yeah, that's how you use charts.